share to our audience worldwide and globally my friend, Erin Emerling. She is a
Hello,
registered
hello.
well, she is a friend of mine. She has her master's in functional medicine. So both Erin Kennedy actually are working together. They are a team. They're working together in their thriving business, Arke Performance. So, hi, Erin. Please introduce yourself to our audience. They probably are like wondering, like, who's this beautiful lady?
This guy brought his wife to the podcast. Yeah, so thank you for having me. As Antoinette said, I'm also a registered nurse. Antoinette and I met many millions of years ago, it feels now, when we were young nurses. So I became a nurse 2011, so it was almost 15 years ago now. I'm feeling old. But about 7 years ago, I moved to Europe, and a lot of things changed for me at that point. And a big thing that opened my eyes was the food system. And I discovered different types of training, like strength training. Actually, Erin was the one that introduced me to that aspect of health, and it changed my life completely. And so I decided to take a deeper dive into the power of food. And that's when I came across the concept of functional medicine, and it's a growing movement. And we have our standard Western approach to medicine, which is great, but it's heavily based in treating symptoms. Functional medicine aims to address the root cause of disease. And so as soon as I heard that, I was hooked and I wanted to learn more. As I mentioned, I got my master's degree a few years ago, and Erin and I worked together. I helped consult some of his executive clients, and I also see clients of my own individually. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's constantly a learning process for myself as well, because functional medicine is all evidence-based. So it's with any new concept, you meet a little bit of resistance for people at first because they're not sure what to make of it. But within my scope of practice, most of my recommendations are lifestyle-based approaches, or I, steer people in certain directions. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. Before we go in the slides, and because we're gonna ask Erin and Erin questions. It's like a perfect match, right? It's like a tongue twister, Erin and Erin. And then
We're gonna start a cult. That's what it feels like.
It's just like, oh my God, it's just like definitely the perfect match for you both. Our duo over here already have fans all over the globe. So I know we have people actually watching us. I know Eva Muy is actually watching us, Erin. What? Yes, and Mr. Ruben Austria says, love the new show. We have also Roberta is also watching. That's my mom. Hi, Mom, Roberta Carabuana. She's here supporting us all.
Is my mom in there? She better be on there. Is there a Mary in the chat?
I'm pretty sure there is. And also, yeah, Mr. Coach Rue actually says eating healthy is my next challenge to overcome. I have no problem being disciplined about training and working out. Discipline on what I eat is another story. That is so true.
It's really hard. Yeah.
Oh, hi. That's Amoy supporting Erin and Erin for today's show. So thank you so much, guys. All right, Erin. So on to the next topic. We're gonna talk about nutrition. I know Coach Rue was just talking about, eating healthy. It's gonna start tomorrow, eating right. So my question is, what is like the nutritional difference between functional medicine kind of looks at the nutrition differently compared to like the traditional methods?
Yeah. So functional medicine, and I had up there the 5 pillars that I see and that functional medicine pretty much addresses as contributing to your overall health. So you have movement and exercise. You've got rest and sleep. You've got diet and nutrition. You have your social connectedness and your relationships, and then you have your like sense of purpose, spirituality. But to your question about nutrition, um, functional medicine basically comes in with the view that food is medicine. I mean, if you think about food, it's what you put into your body every single day. And everything you put into your body can either help you or work against you. And it's not to say that like anything you can have like your vices, you can have something that, you cheat with every once in a while, but if you're constantly putting something into your body that isn't serving it, inevitably you're going to develop chronic disease. And so basically the way functional medicine looks at food, it's just, I mean, it's not this crash, diet approach where I'm going to restrict all these calories, because it's not sustainable. It's about sustainability and making sure that people get the most out of their diet. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so insightful because, people always like go to crash diets, right? And I think that's right. Like it might work probably in the first week or second week, but it's really not sustainable. I totally agree with that one. And, thank you for the information that's so insightful. And, with the new year, all of our audience and everybody are like focusing on, the proper diet, eating right. So, in terms of, since we were actually talking about crash diets too, like what are like tips that you can give to our audience in terms of like meal planning advice and trying to like kind of like stay away from like the crash diet approach, but more on like eating healthy and more of like the functional medicine approach type of stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, the thing when it comes to correcting a problem you see in your diet, the way I like to approach clients is I look at what can we add in prior to taking away everything people love, because food is not just food for most people. It's culture, it's emotion, it's ritual. Like food has a lot of feelings tied to it. And when immediately want to take something away, there's just this resistance internally. Even you might be able to get through it initially, but it's always going to be held on this pedestal. So I like to look at what can you add in. So I always recommend, if you're not getting enough phytonutrients through like colorful vegetables, add those in. And then, continue about your diet, but go in small increments. So see what you can add in first. You can add in veggies, you can add in fiber, you can add in more protein, and then look at the things that you can kind of cut back on. But what will happen typically is when you add those things in, they naturally start to kind of push those bad things out anyways, and you'll find yourself craving less of the bad stuff
Mm.
and more of the good stuff naturally.
100%.
Yeah, that's totally. I love that advice and that approach. But as you know, we have a bunch of majority of our viewers right now are here in the U.S. So it is a culture, and hopefully we'll start to realize and change that people always want like instant food or any type of like instant gratification that they can grab because everybody's just like so focused on their everyday work and trying to like get that work life balance. So could you give us like a few examples of like a quick healthy snacks that you can kind of like tell our audience who's watching for today's show?
Yeah, I mean, the something I've noticed about the culture here in Sweden versus the culture in the US is like, you'll see construction workers at like the gas station or whatever. And in the States, typically they're grabbing candy bars, chips. But here you see people grabbing things like nuts and fresh fruit and cottage cheese. And I find that to be really interesting. So if you're looking for like a quick, healthy snack, I think a good protein source is always like should be your first go-to. So again, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, some nuts, like that's always a good first line of attack. And realistically, we shouldn't even be snacking that much. So you should only really be snacking if you're absolutely needing it. If your meals aren't satiating you, then you're missing something in your major meals of the day. And you touched on this a little bit with the meal prep, but like preparing, in the beginning of the week to kind of just outline. And I know it can take a lot of work and sometimes things come up and whatever. But if you can try to more or less plan your week out, it will set you up for success. And it'll set you up for cooking at home so you know exactly what's going into your food. So pick a day like Sunday or Monday and just commit that to doing all your grocery shopping and making, say, like a big batch of salad and a big thing of chicken. So you could just throw those quickly and easily into a Tupperware container or, whatever it may be.
Awesome. Yeah. So meal prep is really the key. That's so important. And I know, yeah, thank you, Emerson, for letting us know. We have a few minutes left on the show, but I'd like to thank everybody. I know we have a few more guests that join us and put in their comments. We also want our guests to write it or like comment on what's their new goal for the new year. May it be breath work or eating healthy. Eva says, love you guys. And we also have another one here that says, hello, everyone. Shout out from Holyoke, Massachusetts. Ali Lai, thank you so much. So we guys have like avid fan now in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Thank you so much. Please do follow Arke Performance online and support Filipinos in production. Yeah, so I would like to thank everybody, all our guests, to our guests and all of our audience today for being so interactive. Thank you so much. And we learned a lot today about, breath work can definitely improve focus and performance, and also eating right. Functional medicine definitely like emphasizes the personalized and sustainable eating habits, and definitely small changes can lead to big results as long as you stay disciplined and consistent with it. So before we close the show, I'd like to ask our audience, Erin and Erin, about their takeaways for today's show and any advice that they can give to our audience and our producers and myself for today.
Yeah, start taping your mouth closed at night.
I will do that tonight, Erin. Thank you.
Yeah, and I didn't really touch on this as much as I would have liked, but I think one of the best things you can do for your health is think about maintaining your blood sugar at a steady level. So learn how to make a complete plate. And I'm sorry I didn't touch on this, but every meal should have a protein source, a carbohydrate source, a fiber source, and a fat source, healthy fat. So if you do that well and you fill up on protein, you're going to stay satiated and your blood sugar is going to stay stable. So stable blood sugar, that's my takeaway. Aim for that, read up on it. I can't get into it more right now, unfortunately, due to time, but yeah, that's the best.
We have some time, but definitely contact Erin and Erin, Arke Performance, please. Just like contact them and they'll definitely show you all like the good stuff about eating right and breath work and athletic performance. But you guys, thank you so much. It's been great. If you enjoyed today's session, it was definitely great content. Please don't forget to follow Erin Kennedy and Erin Emerling. They have their Instagram and Facebook account. Please follow Arke Performance and definitely contact them. If you need like an online performance coach, please contact them. And would also like to ask all of our audience to follow and support Filipinos in production as they help everybody else, all the business owners, to give out great content like what you are watching today. Thank you so much, guys. And
thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.